Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. Today guys, of course, we're here checking out the next episode of The Batman and continuing the journey of The Batman. This is The Batman Season 1, Episode 9. I love this title. I can't believe this is the title. The Big Dummy. I can't believe that's the actual title. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, really? But I love it. Come on, that's great. Now, in thinking of the title, sometimes titles give a direct hint at what to expect in terms of the episode. I mean, think about, was it episode 6? I think it was episode 6. The Big Chill, referring to Mr. Freeze. So seeing the Big Dummy, I'm like, ventriloquist? Scarface? Maybe. I'm not really sure. But watch me referring to something else entirely or whatever. I'm not really sure. But, okay, the Big Dummy. I've been loving the show. People have been asking me from time to time, you know, are you enjoying the show? How are things going with it? I'm like, well, if you watch the videos, you know. But in terms of what I'm loving about this show is that it is literally a unique interpretation of certain aspects of the idea I have for Batman in terms of character designs and how they're approaching the show. Because when I think of course, Batman in terms of animation, I think Batman the Animated Series, Kevin Conroy. But what I love about what they're doing here with the Batman is they are keeping certain elements that remind me of that series, and that's a good thing. But also there are differences. I mean, literally last week's episode, Clue Master, very unique take versus the comics. And just looking at other things they've done with the show in terms of character designs and the way they're approaching certain stories, it's unique in its own way, and I'm really enjoying that because I want it to be its own thing, and I'm loving it for it. So, can't really complain too much. I'm loving the hell out of the show. I really am. I'm enjoying the journey, and I'm also happy that there's a lot of episodes to get through in terms of 5 seasons, plus a movie, which I'm still trying to figure out. Does the movie take place after season 2 or season 3? Because I'm getting mixed, you know, results or whatever in terms of people's comments saying, you know, it's after season 2, after season 3, watch after season 1. I'm like, okay, so where does the movie, like, where does it fall in? Because I'm going to watch it where it falls in terms of, you know, I'll be taking a break in terms of whenever season 2 or 3 or whatever the movie takes place in or wherever I need to watch it. I'll skip an episode and watch the movie for that week. So I need to figure out, what is it? I need to know. So, here we go, guys. Regardless of all that, let's get into now episode 9 of season 1 of The Batman, The Big Dummy. Let's get into 2 of the shows, guys. Let's go.
It's time, dummy.
Oh, it is Ventriloquist and Scarface. Okay, right away, just confirming it.
You got questions about my plan?
You got questions?
Ask the toady. Yes, nay.
There's gonna be one sweet payday.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
All right. He's a dummy.
Excuse me.
Oh, gosh. I was about to say, yeah, he's gonna turn it off. Yeah.
The problem with these knuckleheads? They got no class.
Class.
Let's see if the Batwave can't draw a connection.
Yeah, draw a connection to all this stuff that's clearly connected.
Whoa.
What?
Meet someone in your area.
I was examining the website for you, Master Bruce.
Huh?
Between Wayne Industries and your after
Oh my
hours
gosh.
party,
He was
or
looking
else
at it for
you'd be living
Bruce.
without but perhaps it's time to stop acting. Let someone special get to know the real.
No, I get it, but Alfred, that's too much.
Very good then.
Yeah, oh.
Let's start with and being a night owl.
Being a night owl, that's a way to put in your dating profile. Like, so what does that mean? I'm the Batman.
Have you decided about the ranch?
Huh?
Ranch.
What are you jabbering about now? I'll go to Montana.
Okay. That won't work.
Always with the joke, sir.
Her name is Becky. She's a psychologist. I'm usually social, but sometimes I retreat to my cave. Fancy that.
Batgirl?
You two late.
Looks like I already have a date.
I already have a date. And it's with Justice. What are they doing? They're just doing a bunch of random stuff, it seems. But they're building something.
Joke is supposed to make us rich.
Yeah, that was a stupid decision. Wow, he's so fucking fast.
Stinks.
Nope. He just threw a fucking plane. He just threw a fighter jet.
Dummy, say hello to my little friend.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh, of course. What the hell? Psyching out of that. Wow. Okay.
Oh yes, he's clearly a smuggler.
Oh, yeah.
That chap screams in Besna.
Yes.
whenever they want one.
There. Scarface. Care to chat?
Oh, Becky.
Becky responded
Awesome,
to your
yeah.
request.
How things coming, Mr. Scarface?
Just need one more part, and that we
Drinking
sweat
and still
tonight.
speaking.
Then we'll have
That's
everything we
crazy.
need to pull off.
Becky has no idea. Talking to the Batman.
What?
How was the chat?
I'm meeting Becky at a cafe tomorrow.
Oh.
It's not a date.
Of course it isn't.
There.
Cool reflection. It really feels like Scarface has like a mind of its own. His own. You know the point? Yeah.
Here, dummy. Keep this safe.
Dummy.
Take this punk out, or I get another punk.
How's he gonna take him out? Dumb. You can't fight this. Oh, okay. They're gonna go and help.
But he keeps following me around.
This isn't an act, is it?
Yeah, he's lost it.
Mr. Scarface! Sir, say something!
Oh, don't leave me.
Oh my gosh, he's acting like he's dead.
Dummy.
Of course.
Start talking. What's
So-
this big heist Wesker's plan?
Yeah, the dummy.
The gold.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Amazing how good and
Alfred, I'm not sure if I can go through with this date.
Mm,
If the Batman is my dominant side, how
yeah.
can I let someone know the real Bruce Wayne?
Exactly, because you have to tell her the truth. Yeah, he can just crush the vault. I don't know, something tells me that wouldn't be feasible, but then again, it's an animated show. That's a lot of gold. Yeah, what are you gonna do with all that gold? Oh! Okay, that's handy. Of course, it has tricks like that. Jesus. Yep, of course it's caught on fire. That's not scary at all.
that's right, sweet.
So how are you going to defeat the robot? The robot puppet.
And I'm gonna.
I'm retiring alone!
Oh.
I guess, tough
Yeah, good
guy.
luck with that.
You're nothing without me.
Hey, Scarface.
Ooh.
My eyes, I can't see.
You can actually see, but okay. Uh-oh. About to say. Yeah, he won't let that happen. Is that him? Is that actually him?
Becky?
Bruce?
No.
You don't look like...
No.
That is, you seem different. He's married.
No.
To his work.
To his work, not to anybody. Dang. Sorry, man. It's okay. I was right, even though my theory wasn't the best theory, because the title pretty much gives it away that it is Ventriloquist and Scarface in the episode. But I could have been wrong. It could have been a trick. But regardless, good stuff. This was a really good episode. And just like with the Firefly episode, which was episode 7, I believe. Yes, episode 7. We had a Bruce Wayne and a Batman story. Even though the Bruce Wayne stuff wasn't a lot of the episode, there still was certain things going on with it in terms of Alfred pulling up a dating service on the Bat computer to basically search up potential people that Bruce could meet. Not so much fake dates as they mentioned, because they have mentioned this, because it's been a thing that's been brought up quite a bit, is that Bruce has to pretend that he's this billionaire, and that he's a billionaire, but he has to pretend because he's Playboy billionaire, and that's his lifestyle. So he has to pretend to go out there and do these fake dates or whatever, and it's not supposed to be real. It's supposed to keep up this image that he's doing all this stuff, and he's clearly not the Batman. It's supposed to be keeping up public appearances and all that kind of stuff, but Alfred wants him to legitimately find somebody. So he finds, and Bruce says not to message her or whatever, but goes ahead and does anyway. He messages Becky, and I want to cover this a little bit first, since it's a little bit of the episode. We'll get to the Ventriloquist Scarface stuff in a minute. And so Bruce actually talks to her, still in the bat suit. He's talking to her on the website. And then I'm like, okay, so she has no idea she was talking to Batman on the other end of that conversation. And at the end of the episode, I'm like, is he actually going to go? But unfortunately, no, because Alfred shows up and he apologizes for Bruce. And that was nice for Alfred, because Alfred could have easily just not showed up or anything, and there's no explanation. She just gets stood up. But the fact that Alfred, being the gentleman he was, probably Bruce probably told him to go say sorry. Or maybe he chose his own, because they really didn't say. Got a hair on my face. Sorry. Apologies for that. But they didn't really say specifically if Bruce said that or not, but the fact is that he went and told her, and says, like, well, sorry, he won't be able to. It's like, let me guess, he's married. Like, yes, to his work. He's not actually married. And then it cuts to Batman sitting on a rooftop, and then he, goes away. It's like, yeah, he really is married to being the Batman. Like, that is his life, and he really can't open up. Because they mentioned a few moments earlier before this happens where she has to be told he's not coming, is it connects actually to, and like episode 7, the Bruce Wayne and Batman story in episode 7 of Firefly. In this episode, the Bruce Wayne Batman stuff does connect, because we see Ventriloquist, he has split personality. He has himself and the dominant, which is actually Scarface, the puppet. And so Batman's thinking, how can I open up to somebody when the dominant for me is Batman? I can't do this. I can't go. And I'm thinking, well, maybe he changes his mind. Of course, we don't see that happen, but it's a good view on it, because literally the mask is Bruce Wayne. And this is something Kevin Conroy has brought up before in terms of talking about his portrayal of Bruce Wayne and the Batman throughout all different iterations he's done, is that the mask, the face that, the character has to put on is Bruce Wayne, because who he really is the Batman. And that's who Bruce really is. He is the Batman. He is not Bruce Wayne in the sense of, that's who his true identity is. He truly is Batman. So he would not be able to open up to Becky or any woman, really, because he has to admit that. Now, maybe Catwoman in the series could be somebody he could open up to, because they've set that up a little bit, but in terms of somebody randomly looking for a relationship, yeah, it's a tall order to handle Bruce Wayne, because you're going to have to deal with the Batman. So, yeah, it's just not the right time, and he really hasn't done, he's been around for 3 years or whatever, but it's like, it's not time for Bruce to do that. And it's a struggle in general for Bruce in terms of doing that. So in terms of the ventriloquist and Scarface thing, I was a puppet, Scarface, I really liked how they handled it, because literally we have these two guys that are working for them, and yet it's like, we're working for a block of wood. We're working, like, what are we doing here? Like, we're working with this dummy. And Scarface is very aggressive. I like the design of Scarface. It's really cool. And to see how dependent Ventriloquist is to Scarface and how he needs it, because it's a split personality situation. And all boiled down to, they were doing a stage act. And by the way, speaking of that, there's a database on the back computer somewhere where they can search up different ventriloquist acts. I had no idea. I was kind of strange, like seeing these other dolls. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But then there's Scarface. But he got booed one night, and they robbed the place. And then I guess since then, maybe beforehand, he had the split personality, and then he just broke over time. Maybe that's what it is. The first interaction with Scarface and Batman was amazing, because they're working to that, like, hangar, but like an airplane museum or something, some sort of museum relating to that. And the two guys that are fighting Batman, pretty interesting fight. Some pretty good fights between Batman and these two guys. But at first they're like in the shadows. I'm like, don't go out there. They're gonna get your ass handed to you. And they still go out there. Scarface guy goes up to Batman. He's like, he swings his puppet hand and just, I'm like, oh God. And Batman's like, what the fuck? And then, of course, that whole thing where he's, like, pinned down and there's their propeller spinning from the plane, and smart idea there. That little green vial, has he used that stuff before? Because he used it twice, I think, in this episode. Has he used that before? I'm trying to think if he did, but anyways. So, Bruce realizes that, okay, this is actually happening. Like, he's actually has split personality. It's not an act. This is clearly something going on here. It's more than just an act or some sort of, trick that Ventriloquist can do in terms of his abilities to make Scarface talk. And there was that one part, too, where it was such a random scene at first, but then it shows just how insanely good he is in terms of ventriloquist. Because guy's eating a sandwich, another guy's pouring water. They come in from some back room, and he's like, watch this. And he asks a question about, you know, what the thing they're doing. I didn't realize they were building a fucking giant Scarface. That was like, he's just Scarface. He's holding little guy like he's holding a dummy. That was so crazy. But he asked him a question, and while ventriloquist is drinking water, Scarface is talking perfectly. And in between, he's not like full sip, 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 sip. He's like, sip. And then he stops for a second, sip. Like, there's like, it's so crazy. I'm like, oh my God, this is more than these guys are understanding right now. And I'm trying to think, did they do that in the comics where it's a giant ventriloquist, a giant Scarface, and ventriloquist sitting on him like the puppet? Like it's a complete 180. It's now opposite ends. Now they've now like moved over. It's so crazy. I'm like, I just don't remember them doing that before. Maybe they have done that before, but I'm just trying to think, and it's not connecting, but man, that was interesting as hell. And two, the times when he is separated from Scarface, ventriloquist hears Scarface's voice in his head. He's hearing it. Right before he got ran over by the train, which is a great move, by the way, in terms of like throwing acid into Scarface's face. He's like, I can't see. Like, you're a dummy. You can't actually see. But for ventriloquist, it's like, you're hurting my eyes. No, it's dummy. It's your dominant, so you think it's a whole thing. But right as he's about to get run over, dummy, ran over by the train. Good stuff. And I think the whole thing, referring back to a little bit to Alfred's thing about trying to help Bruce and time to actually meet somebody, he's just trying so hard to give Bruce some sort of normalcy. I think because maybe he's worried that if Bruce goes too far into what he's been doing, which he's pretty deep in this shit, then maybe he won't be able to pull himself out of it. And maybe that's the fear. But I feel like at this point, Alfred, no matter what you try to accomplish with that little thing they had in the last episode playing checkers was really interesting. It's like, oh, it's a fun little moment. But in terms of some sort of normalcy, but there is no normalcy. There's no way for him to be normal or find any sort of level ground, because that's not who he is. Bruce that's just not him. But I get the whole point of them trying throughout these different episodes for Alfred to try a new approach to try to help Bruce. But I feel like once Bruce wants the help or he wants to do something, I think he'll do it. I think he'll ask for it or something. I feel like the connection that Bruce and Alfred have is strong enough to where I feel like he can go to him. He can go to him and talk to him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But he tried so hard to get him to go on that date. Like, nope, he's not ready for it. He's not ready for it. But yeah, so good episode, great stuff, and I can't complain. This was really fun to watch. I am loving this show. So, what you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts, guys. Whatever thoughts you have, please let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.